Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to check out guitar number 212. I picked this up yesterday. I got a pretty good deal on it. It's pretty close to brand new condition. Well, the case has a little bit of, well, I'll show it to you, a couple little issues. But before I do, man, I appreciate subscriptions. I'm trying to get up to 3,000 subscriptions. And the like button really helps too. I'm not one of those gorgeous girls that has a YouTube channel. Everybody's like, nice, nice. I'm just an old man trying to, teach people how to set up guitars and have some fun and make a couple bucks, Anyway, you want to see the guitar, number 212? Let's go. All right, here she is. Let's line her up so you can see her. What am I doing? I'm going the wrong way here. See the, got to do a little work on the case there. Here she is, a Jaguar. But notice it doesn't have all the doodads, it's just a three-way switch. Pretty nice guitar. It's got the 24-inch scale. It's pretty cool. I played it a little bit last night. Super clean, like brand new. Of course, I got it from Mr. X, and they're always super clean. So let's get it on the bench and check it out. Check it out. It's super clean. It doesn't have any marks on it. Show you the back of it. Look at that. Mr. X is the best. Wow, the sticker's almost straight. You almost got a straight sticker on there, Fender. All right. So I played it yesterday, and common to Fenders, going up over $2,000. They don't, and I made the neck straight. The neck had quite a bit of relief in it. So even with the fairly straight neck, the action here at the first fret is ridiculous. Hello Fender, why can't you have like a little nut cutter that automatically goes bzzz and cuts the nut all at once? You've been at this for 75 years. Come on, I'm always complaining about Fender. They rest on their laurels. They rest on their past glories way too much. They should be showing the world how great their guitars are, but basically, I wonder if I'm going to edit this part out. Basically, they've got the market due to their history, so they can slide on a lot of stuff, and they do. I've seen it so many times. Guitars that are like I don't work on custom shop guitars. I work on when it comes to Fender, mostly like Venteras and Players and the occasional American one, and they're kind of crappy too. They have high frets and the nuts are like that too. So it's not just, Mexican or other, import Fenders that have issues. So the first thing I'm going to do, let's take this most important tool, and let me just get an idea what high frets, if there's any high, well, of course there's high frets, it's a Fender. Let's just see what the high fret situation is. And anybody that's on this channel knows I deal with each individual high fret. I don't just take a file and file everything down. I find the high fret, and then I sand down that high fret until it's not high anymore. Carefully, then I dress all the frets at once. So it's quite the labor-intensive thing, but let's see how good this is. All right, here we are. First thing I'm going to do is I want the neck to be so straight. I want to see the tiniest bit of relief. I mean the tiniest bit. Okay, that's a tiny bit. Okay, I want to see more tinier. I'm going to make up some new words here today. Is that too much? Nice smooth truss rod. I like that. So just the tiniest bit of relief. perfect. Man, that truss rod, the smoothest. These things are dirty. Okay, I'm just gonna give it a little quick, you know, up the middle. Good. The tiniest amount not worth worrying about. Tiniest amount not worth worrying about. Tiny. Really tiny. Tiny. Holy crap, this is one of the better Fenders. There's a little bit here. Still small though. Real small. This is one of the better ones. Let me go off to the side here. If a fret is 1/1000th of an inch or 2/1000ths of an inch high, it is not worth worrying about. It doesn't really make the action lower. Tiny amount there. And these are all like 1/1000th of an inch, I think. This is better than the average Fender by by a mile. Wow. Maybe I should keep this one. Impressive. Did they teach somebody how to install frets there? Wow. Seriously, this is really good. There's it's like really small. Like really small. I'm always weary of high frets here because that will make it choke out when you're playing, when you're bending. It's got a little, that's pretty small though. Let me get my feeler gauge. I don't think that's more than, it's not worth getting the feeler gauge out. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. This is pretty darn good. I'm going to drink to that. Impressive. That is the best fret install on a Fender guitar, maybe ever. Because when you heard those little, like that, I'm going to show you how much that is. I'm going to show you how much that is. Well, let's see, 2/1000ths of an inch, I think. Where was it? It's not even 2/1000ths, it's probably 1. This is good. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, I don't have to deal with the frets. I'll polish them though, because that's the kind of guy I am. So if I don't have to do anything but polish the frets, I could just cut the nut before I even change the strings. And I can cut the nut because I've got the relief is so small. It's like probably under 2/1000ths of an inch. When you cut the nut, you don't want to have a lot of relief in the neck, because then once you take it out, the string will close right down like that. So you gotta watch out for that. All right, so yeah, we'll start out. This is awesome. We're gonna start out by cutting the nut. Okay, check out this picture. This is a 1969 Fender Telecaster that I bought. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna cut this nut in like real time. I'm gonna tell you a story, or at least some of the nut. The 69 Telecaster, I saw the ad. It was on Craigslist, because basically I only dealt with Craigslist. And 69 Telecaster, I don't remember. I think I still have a copy of the ad. It was taken apart, and the guy painted the body, and it was apart, and I think he filed the frets down. And I saw the ad, and I contacted the guy, and I said, "Hey, about your Telecaster? Yeah, a couple of things you did definitely weren't, not the best thing to do on a vintage guitar, but don't just give it away. That guitar it's still worth money. Don't let somebody, con you out of it." And we just started talking back and forth. And so this, more coffee. This local buyer who is well, you'll find out what he's like when I tell you the story about him. He went and saw the Telecaster from the guy, and he basically said he's doing him a favor by taking it away for next to nothing. We're going to cut this to 11 thousandths. And the guy was so angry, he already dealt with a bunch of jerks, but this jerk was, this jerk was the biggest jerk of all. So he says to me, "I'm sick of dealing with these people. Do you want the Telecaster?" And that was never my intent, to get this Telecaster. And I said, "Well, what do you have in mind?" And he said, "You give me a nice made in Mexico Stratocaster and $400." And like 2 seconds later, I was at his house I had an agave. I remember it was an agave blue made in Mexico Stratocaster. An awesome example. It just seemed like the older made in Mexico ones really had better fretwork. They really did. The frets were installed all the way. But anyway, besides that, this was a primo Mexican Strat. So I went over there with it, and we did the trade, right? So he took off all the paint, and he sanded down the frets. So I did my own paint job on it. I mean, it wasn't awesome, but it was pretty good. It's a pretty good paint job, refinished. Just, I don't know if you can see that. A little bit more to go. Take your time doing this. And so I refinished it, and I knew back then the value of that guitar was $550, $5,100, or thereabouts, $5,000. So I thought, well, it's got original parts, it's had a refin, so I put it on Craigslist for Stay Focused McFly for $2,500. That's fair. Just a little bit more to go. And so this guy calls me about it, and he says he'd like to see it. And somehow, this is years ago, he cons me into bringing it to his area, to a guitar center. And it was a bit of a distance, too. It was at least a half an hour drive, at least. And then as I'm going there, I get another phone call. And I said, well, I'm going to meet a guy right now. He's interested in it. And this guy, who sounded very familiar to the guy I'm going to meet, said something to the effect of, "Oh, wow, you should go with that then." And I later realized it was him on another phone number. How about that? So I go and I meet him at Guitar Center. He offers me $800 for it. $800. That's how. And you know what? I had already dealt with some other people, so at that point I was done. And then the next thing I tried to do, if you remember that show Pawn Stars, remember that guy Jesse? Well, he used to own Cowtown Music. Let's stay focused here. Yeah, he was the owner of Cowtown Music, and I have a timeshare in Vegas that somebody gave to me. No, I didn't buy it. And right next to the Bellagio. But anyway, I sent him a message, and I'm like, I've got this 69 Telly Reefin. I was thinking of trading it, you know. And he's like, well, I've got a Gretsch Hot Rod, which I love. So I'm thinking, you know, yeah, my guitar's worth 25, you know. The Hot Rod is probably worth, I don't know, back then maybe 18 or something, 15, 18. So I'm thinking, I don't have that much money into this guitar. $400, a $300 guitar, and some paint and stuff, you know. There, go to the next string now. And so I go to Vegas. I go to the shop, and there was two guys there when I went, and they didn't really even look at me. Seriously, they didn't really even look at me. They were looking online about something, and the one guy had really long black hair, so I assumed that was that Jesse character. And so I say, can I leave my guitar behind the counter here? I want to look at some guitars. They're like, sure. They barely looked at me, really, they didn't. So I walk around, I find the Hot Rod Gretsch. Fail to mention a huge twist in the neck. I mean, a lot of guitars are twisted, the necks are twisted, and you don't even notice it. This one, it didn't take much, and I couldn't, it's like, holy crap. So I put the guitar back up, walked back to get my guitar, and I walked out the door. Now, in all seriousness, I could have taken a couple guitars off the wall and walked out. I would never do that. But I could. They just weren't even paying any attention to me whatsoever. So every time when I see a rerun of Pawn Stars and I see that Jesse guy, I just kind of cringe, you know, because I mean, if you run a guitar shop and you have a guitar on the wall and the neck's twisted and you're a guitar guy, you know it's twisted. You know it's twisted. And man, this thing, looking down the neck like this, holy crap, is it twisted. And so that kind of soured me too. You know, selling guitars. That you wonder why people that sell things, a little bit more to go, that sell things can be kind of they can be kind of what's the word? Rude. You know, they have to have a tough exterior because all these people come in. Can you give me a deal? Give me a deal. They've got all these crazy bills at a music store or whatever. You know, like just a rack of straps. If you knew how much it costs for them to buy all those straps. I mean, I know they make profit on it, but you know. So that's probably the reason why they act like they don't give a crap. And then sometimes they, you know, things are bad and they need to generate cash, so they'll be a lot more flexible. But you get tired of hearing all this. Give me a break. Give me a deal. Give me a break. You know, everybody wants a break, but sometimes the price is good enough. But anyway, so what I planned to do is I just took the guitar apart. And I didn't even have an eBay. I didn't even have an eBay shop at the time. So this friend of mine, he ran this little store. And once I was in his store, and these two guys came in with this crappy hi-hat. And something was wrong with it. They had to go to a gig, and they were freaked out. And it wouldn't work. And he fixed it. He fixed it right there in front of them. And they're like, well, we got $40. We'll give you $40. He's like, nah, just give me 20. And no one else would do that. Everybody else would have taken the $40. So I said to him, sell this on your eBay site, and I'll give you, I forget what the cut was, 40% or something. And so just the pick guard. The pick guard on this 69 Telly had been off for years. So they always have cracks by the screw holes. This one didn't. And actually, when I got the guitar, he had painted the pickguard black. So I wet sanded it finer and finer, then I buffed it, and you could never tell it was painted. And because it didn't have cracks in it, I got $650 for that thing. And we're talking a long time ago. So I ended up getting $2,500 in parts for the guitar. So about the same as what I wanted. And that's how I got a 69 Tele. Yeah, I don't know. I think these guitars are cool, but I don't know. There's so much hype about them. And a lot of vintage guitars are crap. They act like every vintage guitar is like this awesome playing thing. And some of them are just horrible, crappy, you know. And some people, they just think they're, you know, like look at the 59 Les Paul. You know, nobody wanted those. That was a huge bomb for Gibson. But then when the 60s rolled around, that was one of the best electric guitars that was around in pawn shops for $80 or $300. And, well, maybe more than 80, but I'm sure some might have sold for that. And, you know, you see somebody famous using them, and then this whole mystique started. You know, I've had my hands on some 50s Gibsons and Les Pauls. I mean, I don't know. To me, I don't think they're better than anything modern that's good. I think it's just all this mystique. I don't think they sound better. I mean, there's something cool about something old, but the money that it's just, I don't know. I think it's a little ridiculous what people will pay for something because it's rare or old. You know, of course, if I was selling one, I wouldn't give it away. Come on. It'd be nice to find one. But there's so much hype. You know, I just saw this video a while back, and it's of a guy. He's got an R9, Gibson's flagship 59 copy. And he's playing this Harley Benton single cut. And see how long this takes? And when you hear them, you know, one after the other, if you didn't see the guitar, you wouldn't be able to tell which was which. And this is a Harley Benton. So, you know, all this pickup stuff too, I can start rambling about that. All you people that think you can tell pickups from other pickups, well, I've got a bunch of A/B tests on here. No one's figured them out yet. You can't see. That's the thing. Everybody's a genius when they can see the different guitars or pickups. But when you can't see them, then you have to use these things on the side of your head. And a lot of people, they can't. They like to think they can tell, but when they can't see, they can't tell. So my blind pickup test, nobody's figured out any of them. I don't think one of them, anyone's got them all right. You know, it's ridiculous. See how long this takes? Notice how I have a brush to clean this, but I'd have to move my tripod to get it, so might be taking a little longer. But the one thing about cutting a nut, if you don't have patience, you're gonna cut it too low. The string will be laying on there, and then you'll be really mad. So you got to take your time. We'll just finish this second string, and then I'll go on to something else, so this doesn't end up taking forever. But it's better to take forever than to blow the nut. See, like, why can't Fender have something that has a bunch of little wheels on it, little cutters, little thin cutters, and all 6 of them at once? Bzzz. It's like, this is 2025. Come on. And all the other companies too. Okay, just the tiniest amount, and we're done. All right, these strings are dirty. I'm going to replace them. Got to go a little bit more. You know, another thing that bugs me, I usually do this on the high speed, so now you're getting to hear my thoughts. Is oh God, I already forget. I forgot what I was going to say. That's common. ADHD, bipolar, dude. Yeah, I want to get this just perfect. Man, it's taking a while. Oh, I got it. You know what bugs me? They call this nut, what do they call it? Oh, what is it? It's the stupidest name. I can't think of it. But it's not bone. Oh, new bone? They call it new. Is it new bone? It's got nothing to do with bone. It's some synthetic material. Oh, it's still got a... Man, this is taking forever, and I haven't even done 2 yet. New bone. You know what? Just call it fake bone, Fender. Fake bone. Not new bones. Or that amp company, Tube Works. They didn't even have a tube in them. It's like, really? I think I'm just about done with this one. And be careful you don't hit the file on the fret. Some people want to roll over the edge a little bit, which is not a bad thing to do, I guess. All right, it's taken this long. What are we at? We're at 17 minutes and I've only done 2. It might have been a little bit faster if I wasn't yakking. But this takes a while, at least for me. It takes a while because there's nothing worse than when you do it too much. So anyway, let's move on to something else. I'll finish this on the high speed. That took 8 minutes just to do the G string. I don't know what kind of nut this is, but it's hard. It's really hard. So I'm not going to show you. I mean, when I talked through the first 2 strings, you saw how it's done. So I'll just finish this off camera, and then we'll get to the rest of the setup. I'm impressed by this guitar already. It's got no really high frets. I don't think any are more than 1/1000th of an inch, which is really good. I mean, shouldn't have any, but for Fender, this is a fantastic neck. And this truss rod is so smooth. Oh my gosh. Man, I gotta really think. Do I want this guitar? It's not really my thing. I do like the short scale, but I already have a 2 pickup Squire from 1985 that I'm trying to sell. But it makes me think twice because it's so good. Anyway, I'll get this nut cut and then we'll probably polish the frets next. Okay, so I looked it up and it's called synthetic bone. So I would call it something else. To me, that's fake bone. But it's hard, man. It's really hard. The bigger strings, the 4th, 5th, and 6th, they went down a lot faster. But man, the first 3 took a long time. You can see this trem arm. If you buy one of these, you can't leave it like that. You got to push it in all the way. And I'll show you how the bridge moves. Let's see if I can get this camera nice and steady. See how the bridge is designed to move? Just designed for little swells. It's not designed for... That's a different setup. Anyway, so now I'm going to pull the strings off and polish these frets, treat the board. Then I can get the action set, make sure the intonation set. We'll get some new strings on this baby. And, so far, much better than so many Fenders I've worked on. I don't know, I changed rooms, and I used to have a thing on a paper on the wall, and I would always count the high frets. And I need to do that with this guitar because there are some high frets, but I don't think one of them is more than a thousandth of an inch. It's so incredible. Yeah, and a while back I had a 93 Mexican Squire I got from the original owner, and it had like 2 or 3 high frets that were almost nothing. So Fender can do it. When you watch someone at a factory installing frets, it's the thing they go the quickest at, And I've always said they should just lightly start the frets, just tap them in, and a big hydraulic press should squeeze them, hold them in for a minute or two, but they don't want to spend that much time. That would probably end all this high fret stuff. I just, all things being equal, I don't think you should have any high frets at all. In a perfect world, you wouldn't even have to dress the frets because they all went in evenly. Could you imagine that? Imagine all the frets all the way seated together. Strange story. Now imagine me with long hair. When I was a kid, a few people said I looked like John Lennon, which I don't think that's really a compliment because John Lennon was not like the best looking Beatle, I didn't think. Anyway, let's get back to our Hulu girl and some reality here. All right, let's get these strings off, and I'll tighten up the tuners. I'm sure they're loose, and we'll get this board. We'll get these frets polished and lemon oil this nice rosewood board. Yeah, Fender, you act like you're doing us a big favor. Now we have the Player 2 with the rosewood. It's like, come on. Like you're doing us a big favor. You're the company making all the money. It's ridiculous. And we can see some fret sprout. See that? Now why can't they... Well, Fender's not going to do that. I was going to say, why can't they cut the nibs down a little bit? That takes time, and they want profit above all else. So I might have to deal with that. Probably pop the neck off, and I'll deal with all these sprouting frets. So much better. So much better. Now this is absolutely one of the better Fender fret jobs and neck. But check this out. We've got a little bit of the clear coat. They roll up over the fret ends. I don't know why. You can see it's tinted too. And see how it's coming off there? Well, I've already addressed it on this side. I didn't film it. And if this was in focus, you'd see. Come on now, let's focus. Focus. There we go. And some of that clear coat was on the rolled edge. Why would you want it on there? It's just a little dusty, so it doesn't really look right. So I went up the whole neck, got rid of all the frets poking out, and I wanted to take off that clear coat. I got a little bit more work to do. You can see there's a little bit more there, but it's taken, I got quite a bit to do here. But yeah, you can see here, right in the center, there's a tiny bit of clear coat underneath that fret. It's slow going. I'm taking my time doing this. See, there's a little bit more on the nut, but I'm going to get all that off. It feels so much better once I got rid of the clear coat that's kind of on the edge. You're talking about your rolled edge, which is nice, but then you ruin it with this stupid clear coat. So you know what? I'm going to custom shop this. I hope somebody who really appreciates labor-intensive things gets this guitar and really appreciates it, because I didn't need to do any of this, and I probably won't get more money out of it. Yeah, I got a little bit more on this clear coat to go. Got to keep working at it, and then I'll start this. Okay, so the sides are all done, looking good, and that clear coat, which is like a matte finish, which went on the side and it kind of went on the edge, that's all gone. It feels so much better. I wish I worked at Fender. The very first thing I would do is stop the assembly line and make them do it right. Make them do it right. Okay, so I've got my 10 mil. I'm going to tighten these up. Then I can get to polishing these frets and treating the fretboard. All right, I just went over the frets with 1000, 15, 2025, and 3000. Now I'm just going to polish these frets, and I'm going to just do one at a time. So I can save tape, and it'll take a while to do it, but I don't want to waste a bunch of tape. So here we go. All right, we got some lemon oil. We got the body attached. We'll let that dry. And get the bridge on. Maybe I'll clean it up a little bit first. Get the bridge on and get this thing together. Okay, we have the strings on, and we'll get them stretched. I like to put them to pitch and then stretch them. Just a habit I have. Oh, what happened? Went over. Okay. Let's see where our relief is. Yeah, there's like no relief. We're gonna put some relief in there. Back off this truss rod. Man, this is the smoothest truss rod. Come on, get in there. that's about it. That's about what I like. Let's see, how are we tuning? I'm going to go wash my hands, then I'm going to play it a little bit. All right, now I am going to try to get this tuner where I can see it. I'm going to see about setting this bridge. We'll see what this neck can do. I want it to be pretty low. You can really hear the buzzing in the middle position. See how it goes away? Wow, so far so good. I think this can go down a bit. Oh, that's... Fun wow. Nice. It's low. It's really low. I have another 2025 Fender from, what do they put on here? Ensenado over there. And we'll see if the frets are put in as good as they are on this guitar. Okay, it's got to go up. Oh, going the wrong way. Usually if it does fret out, it's the E string. Wow. I wish I could see this, my tuner. I don't know, I haven't checked the intonation yet. I think this arm needs to go up. And we do that by adjusting the screw. Takes the pitch up too. Oh, she's out now. Is that about where I like it? Where am I going? G, not G sharp. Okay, I'm going to stretch the strings one more time and then we'll get the intonation set. Look at that thing rock. It's a rock and roller. It's a rock and roller of a bridge. It's really a rocker. I again didn't show setting the intonation, so I'll just explain it quick for somebody who's new here. Usually you don't do it like this. You do it in the playing position, but just for giggles, I'll show you. Hit the E string, right? And it looks a little low. You just move that up a little bit. Okay, so then it's in tune. Then you play the note at the 12th fret. See, it's a little flat. So that means you just take your saddle and move it that way. The way the needle moves is the way the saddle moves. So if I hit the 12th fret and it was like this, and it's sharp, then the saddle has to move that same direction. That's all setting intonation is. Pretty simple. Well, let's give it a couple of chords. These are the ones I like after setting the intonation. This is a really nice guitar. I hope they start coming like this from the Fender factory. This one is from Ensenada. It's a Mexican one. And I'm really impressed with the fretwork on it. Sure, it's got a few high frets, but they weren't really high. They were like under my 2/1000 of an inch. Feeler gauge would not fit underneath the rocker. And I just want to, this is something I like to do. Check this out. Here we go. 2/1000 of an inch. You see that feeler gauge? Now watch this. Where should I do it? It all but disappears. You can see it there in that black line. It all but disappears. So it's less than that. That's good. That's really good. I've got another Ensenada. I got a Telecaster I just bought. Another 2025 like this one. And I can't wait to see. I'm hoping that those frets are put in as good as on this guitar. Because anybody that's been on this channel knows I do rag on Fender. They've been at it 75 years. They should do better. I'm more of a stop tail guy, and I've already got a couple of trem guitars. I would keep this if it weren't for that. That's how good this guitar is. This guitar is that good. It's really nice. Anyway, I really appreciate you spending time with me. And if you want to subscribe, wouldn't cost you anything. That would be awesome. That would really help me. And of course, the like button always helps. I want to get to 3,000 subscribers. I'm not a good-looking woman. I'm an ugly old fart. So it's not that easy to get people to subscribe. So that would be cool. If you feel like doing it, that'd be awesome. Well, I look forward to seeing you next time. It'll be on that other telly. We'll see if it's as good as this. I'm hoping it is. I'm hoping Fender has changed their ways, and because these guitars are expensive. I think that telly's over $1,000. I mean, come on, it better be good. Anyway, that's it for today. Take care.